Looks like England are going to take on the early part of this lead out and leave the Australians to finish it off. Armstead may very well choose to sit in Gilmore's wheel.
It's becoming a little bit of a nail biter this, and Nicole Cook, he's right there in the mix, not quite knowing which wheel to follow at the moment, but the pace by England still holding on to the front of the field, and this is Emma Pooley being followed by the Canadians, and Pooley Cook I should say, sitting back in fourth spot. Now there's quite a blaze of the yellow and green coming through of Australia.
Well, Cook is quite far forward at the moment. The riders in front will peel off as they get closer to the line. She might find herself dumped a little bit too far out.
Well, they're grouping quite strongly, the Australians, about 6 or 7 back. Cook, with a little injection of pace and a stretch of the legs there, she got out of the saddle. She'll have that right gear selected. She'll have worked out what size gear she needs for this long, flat finish. But the pace lifting all the time as they're closing nearer and nearer to the line. Who's going to cover themselves in glory and take away this gold medal? Cook sitting about fourth back. She's in the perfect position, and I'm trying to work out if that's Armstead in the wheel of Cook.
No, I think she's just perhaps a little further back. Been almost invisible for the duration of this race.
Well, the lead out by Pooley here is favouring the Canadian in her wheel as well, and that does look like Whitten to me, the world double track champion. Whitten is number 12. No, it's sorry, that is Pooley, of course. I'm a bit premature there. Really piling on the pressure here. Pooley, the world time trial champion. Well, she is now off going, isn't she? She's expended a load of energy during this race, and the Canadian actually is Anne Samplonius, the oldest on their team at 41, and there's Cook sitting in third position. Now then, we need to just see where Lizzie Armstead is. New Zealand starting to come through as well again here, but the pace is so high, nobody's going to jump clear.
Well, the Canadians there, they're trying to bring their leader through.
Cook looks as though she wants to get to the front of the field already here. She's just jumped past Emma Pooley, and now she's come up onto the shoulder of the Australian.
She's very careful here, making sure she doesn't get swamped in the centre of this group as riders accelerate around the outside. She really is watching everything. She can place herself beautifully. Lizzie Armstead just behind her in the middle of affairs there, waiting for this sprint to start.
About 4 kilometres to go, I would say, and they really have made the early strike for home. You can tell the sense of urgency is creeping into this. They're all becoming very, very twitchy, and it's Australia that have come to the front. New Zealand trying to sneak their way through as well. Cook, her presence is always there, about 3 back. She doesn't allow anybody to push her off the wheel.
It's Tara Whitten, centre screen. She's looking to find a wheel to get on as well. She's had to move herself up to the front, expending some valuable energy.
Just come under the bridge, that's where it lips up into Minto Road. So the finish is closing in. They're getting ever nearer. And Australia now beginning to gather at the front, looking after the interests of Rochelle Gilmore, the 28-year-old sprinter, the most experienced sprinter on the team. Megan Dunn, that youngster, has been working for the rest of the squad as New Zealand once again have a go on the front here. They are really keen to get on with this. They haven't got a pure sprinter, so they keep trying to launch a rider. This is Catherine Cheatley. Oh, she nearly nicked the curb there. That would have been a disaster, but she stayed upright, and that injection of pace has caused the field to thin down. They're closing in on the finishing funnel of Parliament Street, and Cheatley has established a slender advantage here, and this is putting the Australians on the back foot, who are now going to have to inject pace.
Well, I think it's Rhodes there that's, I think, going to look at the number, who's the Australian on the front of affairs, and she's desperately trying to pull it back. Nicole Cook in third place. She's a long way forward, but just 1 kilometre remaining. Well, I think she could do well here.
Well, Cheatley looks as though she's going to get swept up here. Cook is right in on the mix. She's dropping into the brace of Australians that are slowly clawing their way back up into the wheel of Cheatley. And we're getting closer to the finish now, looking for where Lizzie Armstead is for England. They're taking the left-hander. Well, the finishing straight now is well within their sights.
And that's Gilmore in second position, so the Australians have led this out perfectly, and Nicole Cook is the one that's going to take advantage.
And it looks like Megan Dunn's leading out Rochelle Gilmore, and Gilmore, of course, is a big hope for Australia. And also up there is Nicole Cook carrying the hopes of Wales, trying to replicate her finishing position of Manchester in 2002. Nobody wants to commit themselves just too early, and now the sprint is on, and I reckon Cook got caught napping there as Australia take it on at the front, and Cook has got squeezed out of it. Can she find a way through? Who's going to take it on the line? The gold medal's going to Australia. Rochelle Gilmore takes the gold medal for Australia. And where did Cook finish in the end? I think she may have got second or third.
I think Lizzie Armstead just found herself going up the centre there, couldn't find a hole, swung right, and I think she might have just taken a silver medal.
Well, let's just see the replay. Sorry, Chris. It was difficult to see, wasn't it, because it looked like Cook was trying to come back into the mix. Let's take another look at it here. Rochelle Gilmore, that the Aussie team have worked for tirelessly, set her up perfectly in the final run. Now let's just see whether Armstead does get through into the medal position. Difficult really to recognise, but the Australians really did get it right, didn't they? Closing metres.
Nicole Cook found herself just too far forward. She'd kept herself out of trouble, but I said a couple of kilometres ago that if she does this, she could find herself dumped too early, and here she was. She tried to move herself back down the line, but there was no one else there, and she was just a little bit early.
Well, let's just see the closing run for the line.
There's Armstead trying to find a hole, couldn't do it, swung right. It was a beautiful sprint, but she just started it too late.
You are right. It was a great run for the line by Lizzie Armstead, who got the silver in the closing stages, and I think Cook possibly may have just secured the bronze.
Well, there was so many bodies there. I think we're going to have to wait to get some confirmation on those results, because it all changed hands in the last few metres.
Well, congratulations here. But Australia, they've done it again, Chris. They got it right, didn't they?
Well, they've had an astounding games. I don't think they've ever been as successful as this. They've always been very, very strong in the Commonwealth Games. But to take almost all of the gold medals on offer so far is, well, I'm not sure if it's unprecedented.
Well, Armstead came through right, didn't she, at the death, and almost got Gilmore on the line. We didn't even call her in the commentary because it looked like Cook was in the mix.
Well, I'd like to see a helicopter shot of that sprint to see how it panned out.
Yes.
It's often deceptive having the long lens down the finishing straight.
But what they have done, they've defended their title, because Natalie Bates got it before. There's the result confirmed. Well, Cook didn't get a medal. It was Gilmore that got gold from Armstead, and then Hosking of Australia got the bronze. Nicole Cook having to settle for 5th position.
Well, I think she just started the sprint too early. I saw her hit the front and realised that it was just too far to go. They looked around. I think Gilmore actually did the same thing as well, but she had a second wind. She just found herself a wheel for another 5 or 6 seconds and then relaunched a sprint.
Australia. And Cook is 5th. And
it was a great final there. It's probably quite indicative of what's going to happen in the men's race as well. Very, very difficult to make a breakaway. Great teamwork here.
It's a chance to see it again, Chris. Cook, you can see, sitting in 3rd place, and it looks like Megan Dunn to me that's leading out Rochelle Gilmore, who is Australians' big sprinter. Then when they start to hit out, as they get nearer to the line, it's now where we need to look to see where Lizzie Armstead is. Can't see any sign. That line across the line, the road is a bit misleading because you think you're there. Now, this is where Cook is starting to go back. Gilmore's got the front. You're right, on the left of the screen is Armstead, but she's just run out of distance, hasn't she?
Well, she thought about going through the middle there, realised there just wasn't enough room, went right, and there's just not enough time to think in a sprint like this. And she had to go right, and it was enough to secure a medal. It was a good ride, but perhaps just started the sprint a little bit too far back. Her team spent all their energy making sure this race stayed together for her.
Just got herself in the wrong position, really, didn't she? Possibly watching Cook, who then got herself out-positioned and ended up having to finish, I think it was 5th in the end, wasn't it, for Nicole Cook?
It was. Not sure if it was actually the silver medalist there that
There's the differences. Well, Gilmore's got nearly a clear body length advantage.